Hello everyone. This video is brought to you by Newton's Group of Institutions. This is Arvind Egireddy from Department of CSE. In this video, we will discuss about the software effort estimation. In today's video, we will discuss about introduction to software estimation, where are these estimations done, problems with various over and under estimations, the basics of software estimation, and software effort estimation techniques. So coming to the introduction, so one definition of a successful project is that the system is delivered on time and within the budget and within the required quality, which implies that the targets are set and the project leaders then tries to meet those targets. So this assumes that the targets are reasonable. Even though the possibility of the project leaders achieving the record levels of the productivity from team, but still they don't meet the deadlines because of the incorrect initial estimates is not recognized properly. So here, the realistic estimates are therefore crucial to the project leaders, and estimating the effort required to implement the software is notoriously difficult. And here some of the difficulties that arise from the complexity and the invisibility of the software. So in addition, the intensely human activities that make up the system development, which cannot be treated in purely mechanistic way. And it also includes some other difficulties like subjective nature of the estimating. Here, some researchers show that the people tend to understand the difficulty of the small task and overestimate it as an larger task. Then the other difficulty is the potential implementations. Here different groups in an organization have different objectives. Some people reduce the estimation cost of the project to get good impression, and some will increase the cost to make more money. So to avoid these political influences, one suggestion is that the estimations to be produced by means of a specialist estimating. And the third difficulty is changing technology. So when the technology changes rapidly, it is difficult to use the experience of the projects on the new ones. And the fourth difficulty is lack of homogeneity of the project experience. So even where the technologies have not changed, knowledge about the typical task durations may not be established or easily transformed from one project to another project because of the difference between the projects. Coming to where are these estimations done? So these estimations are carried out at various stages of the software project, and at each stage, the reasons for estimating and the methods used will vary. The first one is strategic planning. So the cost of computerizing the potential applications as well as the benefits of doing so might need to be estimated to help and decide what priority needs to be given to each project. So here such estimations might also influence the number of various types of development staff to be recruited by the organization. And the second one is feasibility study. So this is ascertains the benefits of the potential system which will justify the costs. And the third one, system specification. Here, most system development methodologies usually distinguish between the definition of the user requirements and to design those documents how these requirements are to be fulfilled. So, the efforts needed to implement the different design proposals need to be estimated first. So, these estimates at the design stage will also confirm that the feasibility study is still valid, taking into account all that has been learned during the detailed requirement analysis. Coming to the fourth one, that is evaluation of supplier's proposal. So the source selection evaluation team, SSET, evaluates each proposal and any subsequent submitted information or proposal revisions against the requirements and evaluation criteria. So this SSET evaluates the understanding of the software talks, the validity of the proposed approaches, and capabilities and capacities to be performed. So this SSET, that is source selection evaluation team, should typically follow certain software related activities. Coming to the fifth one, that is project planning. As the planning and implementation of the project progresses to the greater levels of details, more detailed estimates of smaller work components will be made. As well as confirming these earlier and more broad-brushed estimates, these will help us answer the questions about, for example, when staff will have completed a particular task and when he will be available for the new task. Coming to the problems with over and underestimates. An overestimate might cause the project to take longer than it would. Otherwise, this can be explained by the application of two laws. One is called as an Parkinson's law. So here, C. Northcote Parkinson, who was a teacher and a writer who captured the public imagination in the mid-1950s with his stochastic writing on government and business. He originally stated as work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. So this law has a wide implications for the project. This is the general attitude what we see. It is the businessman who has time to spare. That is, if any project without any established due dates will take an infinite amount of time. So here the people's mind will be set like that, not now, we will do it later. For suppose you are given an assignment and being asked to complete in an hour. What you will do? You will complete it in an hour. For suppose you are being asked to complete the same work in a day. So you will take 1 day to complete that particular work. And for suppose you are given to complete the same assignment for 1 week time. So what you will do? You will take 1 week to complete that particular task. That is that particular assignment. Here, the person may start the activity at the last possible minute. So we will perform it in a leisurely manner. That is the task or the assignment what you can perform in 1 hour, you can do it in 1 day, or even you will complete it in 1 week, that too at the last minute. So this is what is the meaning of the businessman who has time to spare. So here there is another law which is called as an Brooks law. Here Brooks law is an observation about the software project management, according to which adding manpower to a later software project makes it later. It was coined by Fred Brooks in the 1975 in his book, The Mythical Man Month. According to this book, an incremental person when added to a project make it more time, not less time. So it is because as the project team grows in size, so it needs an extra effort in managing, coordinating and communicating them. That is, if there is an overestimate of the effort required, then this might lead to more staff being allocated that are than what they are needed. and this increases the managerial overheads, and because of this the project will get delayed. So this is more likely to be an significance with large projects. Coming to the basics of software estimating, here the basis of software estimating is a documentation that identifies the logic, data, methodology and calculations that are being used to estimate the resource required to perform a specific task or a group of related tasks. So in software development, effort estimation is the process of predicting the most realistic amount of efforts required to develop and maintain the software based on the historical data, measures of work and complexity. So here the need for historical data. So here nearly all estimating methods need information about how projects have been implemented in the past. However, care need to be taken in judging the applicability of the data to the estimate's own circumstances. Because of possible differences in the factors such as programming languages used, the software tools available, the standards enforced, and the experience of the staff. So the best way is to use your own organization's historical data to determine how much effort previous projects of the estimated size have been taken. So this of course assumes that your organization has been documenting the actual results of the previous projects, or you have at least one past project of the similar size. Suppose if you don't have any historical data from your own organization because you haven't started collecting yet, or your new project is very different from the one which you used previously in many aspects. So in that case, we can use a matured and generally accepted algorithmic approaches such as COCOMO model. Then coming to the measure of work, here it is impossible to calculate directly the actual cost or the time required to implement a project. So the time taken to write a program might vary according to the competence or experience of the programmer. And implementation time may also vary on factors such as software tools that are available. So the usual practice is therefore to express the work content of the system to be implemented independently to the effort using measures such as source line of code. And the third one is complexity. Here, two programs of the same KLOC, that is kilos of lines of code, will not necessarily take the same time to write, even done by the same developer in the same environment. So one program might be more complex because this SLOC estimates have to be modified to a more complexity into account. So attempts have been made to find the objective measures of complexity, but often it will depend on the subjective judgment of the estimator. Now coming to software effort estimation techniques, Barry Bookam in his classical work on software effort models identified the main ways of deriving the estimates of software development efforts as algorithmic model. So which uses the effort drivers representing characteristics of the target system and the implementation environment to predict the effort. The second one is expert judgment, where the advice of knowledgeable stall is solicited. And the third one, analogy, where a similar completed project is identified and its actual effort is used as the basis for the new project. Fourth one, Parkinson approach, which identifies the staff effort available to do a project and use that as an estimate. Fifth one, price to win. Here, the estimation is a figure that appears to a sufficiently low to win a contract. And the sixth one is top down, where an overall estimation is formulated from the whole project and is then broken down into efforts required for component tasks. And the seventh one, bottom up approach, where the component tasks are identified and sized and these individual estimates are aggregated. So clearly the Parkinson's method is not really an effort prediction method, but it is a method of setting the scope of the project. And similarly, the price to win is a way of deciding the price and not a prediction method. So now let us look at some of these techniques more closely. Coming to the bottom-up estimation, the bottom-up approach, here the estimators break the project into its component tasks and then estimate how much effort will be required to carry out each task. So with a large project, the process of breaking down it into tasks would be a repetitive procedure or a repetitive one. Here, each task would be analyzed into its component subtasks and these in turn would be further analyzed. So this is an repeated process until you get the components that can be executed by a single person in about a week or two. So this seems to be a top-down approach, although this top-down analysis is an essential procedure to bottom-up estimating. It is really a separate one, that of producing a work breakdown structure, WBS. So the bottom-up approach part comes in adding up a calculated effort for each activity to get the overall estimate. So the bottom-up approach is the most appropriate at the latter and more detailed stages of the project planning. So if this method is used early in the project cycle, then the estimator will have to make some assumptions about the characteristics of the final system. Coming to the top-down parametric models, the top-down approach is normally associated with the parametric models. The effort needed to implement a project will be related mainly to the variables associated with the characteristics of the final system. So the form of parametric model will normally be one of the formula in the form effort is equal to system size into productivity rate. So a model to forecast a software development effort therefore has two components. The first one is a method to assign the size of the software development task to be undertaken, and the second one assesses the rate of work at which the task can be done. And coming to the expert judgment, so it is a technique in which the judgment is provided based on a specific set of criteria or expertise that has been required in a specific knowledge area, application area, or product area, a particular discipline, or an industry, etc. So, such experts may be provided by any group of persons with a specified education, knowledge, skills, experience, or training. This knowledge base can be provided by a member of the project team or multiple members of the project team or by a team leader or team leaders. So, however, typically expert judgment requires an expertise that is not present within the project team, and as such, it is a common for an expert or external group or a person with a specific relevant skills or knowledge base to be brought into for an consultation. So here, coming to estimating by analogy, the use of analogy is also called as case-based reasoning. The estimators seeks out the project that have been completed and that have similar characteristics to the new project. So the effort that has been recorded for matching the source case can then be used as a base estimate for the target. The estimator or the estimator should then try to identify the differences between the target and the source, and he need to make the adjustments to the base estimate for the new project. So here the problem is how you actually identify the similarities and the differences between the different systems. So here attempts have been made to automate this process. One software application that has been developed to do this is Eagle model. So this model identifies the source case that is the nearest to the target by measuring the equilibrium distance between the cases. So the source case that is at the shortest equilibrium distance from the target is deemed to be the closest match, and this equilibrium distance is calculated by using the formula square root of target parameter 1 minus source parameter whole square plus so on up to target parameter n minus source parameter whole square. That is nothing but it is square root of sigma I is equal to 1 to n target parameter of I minus source parameter of I whole square. So by using this formula, you can calculate the Euclidean distance and you can estimate by analogy. Thank you all. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for the latest notifications. Thank you all.